Hi everyone, my name is Kjetil. I work at Cognite as the Chief Architect for Enterprise Integration, and today we'll talk about time series. So time series is information that we typically record along a timeline. They can originate from different sources. It could be your heart rate monitor, your temperature sensor at home, or a weather station. The central element is that we typically also plot this along the timeline to make sense of it. So the data would typically be represented with a line. So on the y-axis, we have the data, the measures or values, and on the x-axis, we have time. So here the chart shows how the data is recorded along the timeline. So the time series can be used to gain more insight about the state and behavior on an object or a person of interest. So typically we would use this to monitor manufacturing plants, logistics, etc. But a nice example is yourself. Let's say that you wear a fitness device, a heart rate monitor. Then that heart rate monitor would take measurements in time and produce a time series of how hard your body is working. And it can give you feedback then on your level of fitness. You could upgrade your fitness device to have more sensors, so they produce more time series, and that again could lead them to give you more accurate feedback on your fitness level, and also how you can best change your level of fitness. How should you plan your workouts to get maximum efficiency back? And that is the same principle that we also apply when monitoring manufacturing plants, processing plants. We get to know the plants better through the time series data. And in return, we can tell you more about how to operate them in the safest and most efficient manner. Here at Cognite, we've developed some special technology to handle time series. A common challenge with time series data is it can often be in large volumes, especially if you have a highly instrumented manufacturing plant or another highly instrumented object. These sensors produce massive volumes of data, and it can be hard to handle them in a performant way. So we have our own time series database, which is completely elastic. When we add 1 unit of capacity, you get close to 1 unit increase in performance as well. So we build our time series database on some of the most scalable infrastructure in the world. And we can handle massive volumes. And we also bring in some tricks to secure that the perceived performance is as high as possible. So for example, when you're analyzing time series data, there's a set of typical statistics that you want to investigate. So we make sure that we pre-compute these statistics for you so that they are available at millisecond response times when you're querying, even if you're querying massive data sets. Another challenge with time series is also, to pick out the right one or the right set of time series to use in your analysis. So in order to make the most sense out of time series, we also add a lot of other context to it. So we would add contextual information that is not necessarily itself a time series, but that is data that you can use to make more sense out of the time series that you have. So it is this symbiosis between the time series data at massive volumes and other rich data that gives you the insight edge. So with this system, we're able today to digitally represent a complex manufacturing plant, for example, an oil rig. So we host a complete digital copy of an oil rig that can then be interrogated by a machine. Every single part in detail is instrumented so that we're able to say something about how an oil rig behaves. We can say something about when it starts getting sick, if there are parts of this plant that you should avoid for risk reasons, if there are parts of this plant that you should operate on a different level if there are parts of the rig that needs maintenance. We don't need to wait for the physical equipment to break down. We know that ahead of time because of the signals that the oil rig gives us through the time series that we read from it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below.